Welcome back to Kaulignation, your one-stop shop for all things Kaulig Racing, Dinger Nation, SVG Nation, NASCAR, and more. He's Ryan. I'm Sean. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty of this video, our question to all you is how far will SVG and AJ advance in the Xfinity Series playoffs this season? Obviously, SVG's got some bonus points to help him out, but you only get 3 cracks at the barrel to advance from the round of 12 to the round of 8. We're going to dive into that at the end of the video. Ryan, how you doing, man?
Hey, pretty good, man. As I just told you off air, it's opening night of the NFL. So for us Americans, I know you're not as much of an American football fan as I am, but I am super excited that the football season's finally here. And I'm guessing if you're a NASCAR fan or a NASCAR executive, you're not so happy that football is here, because now all of a sudden it's going to be a lot harder to get eyeballs on the Cup Series as we get going here into the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm a football fan. I like my Titans, and I loved Tom Brady when he played, but that's a story for a different day. Don't forget, we're live streaming this Sunday, Atlanta Cup Series race. It's going to be carnage. We think the green flag's probably going to happen closer to 4 p.m. Eastern. I hate to guess what time that is for our friends across the pond. I'm guessing like 6 a.m. or something crazy like that. That are heavy supporters of this channel, but we'll be here, so feel free to tune in, and it'll be a longer race too, so we'll have some fun with that. Not doing the Xfinity race, but we'll have our thoughts on that Sunday evening as well. We're talking about Kaulig playoff expectations, which means, with all due respect to Josh Williams, who I love seeing on episode 2 of Trophy Hunting this week, really love the guy. Josh is not going playoff racing without one hell of a change of luck here to his course in the last couple of races. Playoff expectations, man. SVG versus AJ. Do you know where the 3 playoff races are for the Xfinity Series? I know race 3 is the Roval, but I don't know where the first 2 are.
That's a good question. Off the top of my head, I think maybe Bristol is one of them. And I want to say maybe Kansas is the other.
Either way, we know that there is only one road course in round 1 of the Xfinity Series. There's only one road course at all in the Xfinity Series playoffs, where the Cup Series gets 2 this year. It'll be 1 next year. How do you feel about SVG and AJ's chances of advancing out of round number 1?
Personally, I think it's pretty good. I think, I will say this has been one of the deepest Xfinity Series we've seen in quite some time. Even a couple of years ago when AJ was fighting, Austin Cindric and Chase Briscoe for the playoffs. It's not quite as top heavy as it once was. I mean, 1 through, truthfully, 13, 14 this year are very, very close, very competitive. In fact, I think we're going to have 1 or 2 really fast cars miss the playoffs, which we haven't seen in the past. So it's going to be a real tough first round. There's no way around it. You can't screw up. Everybody's going to be very close together. One mistake, one bad break, one issue could absolutely send you home in the first round. And for somebody like AJ,
Kansas, Talladega, and the Roval, and I look at Talladega and I go, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And it also puts a ton of pressure on that Kansas race. SVG has won 3 races, but let me tell you, that cushion can disappear very quickly. But because they have a road course in that first round, regardless of which one of them wins it, and make no mistake, barring someone taking them out, one of those 2 guys are winning the Roval. My money's on AJ. I think they'll be okay, but I'll tell you what, if you have a bad Kansas and then you wreck at Dega, you're better win that 3rd race.
Yep. Yeah, and truthfully, I think that's kind of what it's going to boil down to, is that one driver, and listen, AJ has 0 playoff points right now. None. He will get a handful for wherever he ends up finishing in the regular season points, whether that's 4th, 5th, or 6th. I think all of those are options at the moment. So he will get some playoff points for that. But yeah, as you said, one bad break. Listen, he was running top 5 all day at Darlington and lost 3. Yeah, top 3 most of the day, and I think he was going to finish 4th. He was right there with Cole Custer. And then he loses a tire with less than 5 to go, and boom, day's done, right? That's all it takes. One mistake, one bad break, and you've just lost your entire cushion and then some. You can very easily find yourself below the cutoff line. That being said, AJ's been, in my opinion, racing as good as anybody in the Xfinity series over the last couple months. He's been running top 5 week in and week out. Hasn't been getting those finishes, but that's where he's been racing. I'm very confident that he's going to go to Kansas and put together one hell of a race. Talladega, I could definitely see them maybe playing it safer and trying to stay out of trouble, knowing they have the Roval in their pocket. But I look at it this way. If one driver needs points, they're going to points race. They'll stay out and get stages, right? They'll win the stages. If one driver is a little bit more comfortable in that point situation, they're going to play it to win. Either way, I think we'll see some various strategies between the two of them. They both should be okay. SVG's got quite a few points to put in his bank. I see them both getting out of the round of 12. Round of 8, different story. I definitely, unless one of them can manage to win, it's going to be very, very hard for either of them to make it to the championship 4. It's certainly not out of the possibility, but even like AJ, who I think has a much better chance to make the championship 4, he's going to be at such a massive disadvantage because of his playoff points. He's going to have a lot to overcome. He could do it. I just don't think he will. I think both drivers settle in to between 4th and 8th, or 5th and 8th in points at the end of the year.
Tell you what, the 16 car has been mega fast the last few weeks, and I expect that to continue. I think we'll have an idea how quick they are at Atlanta. I know it's going to feel like a super speedway race to an extent. But, that round of 8, man, it's Homestead. It's Vegas. It's Homestead, 2 places AJ is very good at. And it's Martinsville. If Kaulig could ever bring a setup, AJ, I got to tell you, even with the playoff point difference, if they go to the round of 8, I feel a lot better about AJ's chances of making it than I do about SVG's chances of making it. And that's solely off of experience. The thing that worries me for SVG, though, is, and AJ too, but specifically SVG, is if he has, I don't think AJ will have a bad Kansas. He could cut a tire. He could nail the wall again. It, like you said, it's possible. But I think when you look at it, I think AJ will be running top 5 there. I don't think SVG will be running top 5. I think he'll be running, if he adapts to the track quickly, that, maybe top 10, top 15. But it's hard to get stage points. And then Talladega is a gamble, right? Like, someone could do something stupid on lap 2 and all 3 Kaulig cars could be out. So Talladega is a race I'd like them to play a little more safer than say they're going to play Atlanta this upcoming week. I imagine AJ is going to be balls to the walls trying to redeem Daytona. Same paint scheme for him, by the way. Camper's in back on the car. Quad lock back on SVG's car. Last time he had that on the car, they won Chicago. Not that I'm saying SVG is going to win Atlanta, but that'd be cool if he did. So I think round of 8 is fair. If you're making that last race at Phoenix, one, Kaulig, barring some massive RCR one welcome help, is not going to be very good there. They just aren't in either series. But it'd be fun to at least be in the conversation again, to have a shot there. We'll see what happens. I'm way more confident today in AJ's ability to get there, man, than I was 2 months ago before he, went on this hot streak.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, now that you listed those tracks, I think Homestead's his very best track. Outside of,
if they bring him a hot rod.
Yeah, outside of the road courses, at this point in his career, AJ's figured something out at Homestead. He's ran top 5 in the Cup Series the last 2 years at Homestead. They
almost had runner up there in the one.
Yeah, he's got something dialed in there. So I really feel good about Homestead. What'd you say the other one was? Not Kansas.
Vegas.
Las Vegas.
Where
Las Vegas. Good. They're good. They should run pretty close to the top 5 there. So and listen, you touched on this The separator from AJ to SVG all season long has been stage points. Even though their finishing positions have been decently close most races, AJ's constantly running in the top 5, top 10 all race long. He banks a lot of stage points. He hasn't gotten a stage win yet, which is frustrating, but he gets those stage points, and that will help accumulate going forward. That really will help AJ. And listen, I actually feel a lot better about maybe making the Final Four. But again, when we just look at the competitive cars in the Xfinity series this year, there's 6, 7 cars that are more than capable of making the Final Four. It's just which 4 are going to, don't have any issues, can maximize their days. AJ could absolutely make it, but he would have to put on his best 3 races of the year to get there. Not saying he can't do it. It's just going to be hard, I think.
Moving on to Christian Eckes, man. They were able to sign Christian Eckes. That's been the talk around Kaulig Racing for a bit. Chris Rice spoke glowingly about him on Sirius. We can't spend too much time on him because we thought we were going to have a front stretch article to reference before our recording, but they have not posted that yet, or at least at the time we began our recording. How important is it that Kaulig makes the most out of their 2-year deal with Christian Eckes and gets him locked on to something longer term than that? I don't believe he's going to have an out after year 1. I don't believe that we're going to be seeing the Chandler Smith situation because he also, had a lot of money on his side as well. But still, if Eckes walks into Kaulig and makes the final 8 next year or the final 4 and wins a race or 2 in the Xfinity series, and all of a sudden there's eyeballs on him more so than there is now, even though there should be tons that are on him now, given what he's done in trucks. Best season ever, as Ryan said the other day. How important, though, is it that they hold on to this guy and not let him get poached? Because in my opinion, they've bet basically their entire team's future on him.
I guess I won't go quite to that extreme of they bet their entire future on him. Listen, if he goes out and top 8, wins a couple races, has a chance at a championship for next year, first and foremost, they better be putting his ass in the 31 the following year. Like, don't pass go, don't collect 200, here's your cup ride. And then extend him, right? Give him 3 years or something along those lines.
Yeah, you extend him before he runs race 1 in the 31, in my opinion.
Yep. Exactly. That's exactly what you do. That's what I hope happens. As you say, he doesn't have the funding to buy himself out. He is a little bit more mature than Chandler. I know we're a little shy about what happened with Chandler there. I just don't see that happening with Christian. It is important, right? More so than him being poached if he performs well. I would hate that. But you know what? I could at least live with that because that meant he performed well. And if he's performing well in Kaulig Xfinity equipment, that proves that that driver can make the Cup Series, whether it's with us or somebody else, that I think at least shows other drivers that they can use Kaulig as a stepping stone to the next level. I definitely don't want that to be Kaulig's trajectory as a stepping stone, but it is important that they landed this top prospect, and it's important that this top prospect performs well to continue a pipeline in the future. That to me is the most crucial aspect of all of this, is that Christian is kind of taking his own risk by coming to Kaulig and not waiting on another opportunity. Now, admittedly, without funding, there aren't a lot of those other opportunities around, but I think he's taking as big of a risk with us as we are with him. And if it works for both sides, then it's going to help Kaulig next year, 5 years from now, so on, as they continue to try to find their footing as an organization in NASCAR. And with that being said, if he performs really well, even if it takes 2 years for him to do it, you better throw a big contract at him and you put him in that Cup car no matter what it takes. Now, if he goes to Cup, races for us for 2 years, 3 years, runs well, and then leaves for greener pastures after that, I could also live with that. But we have to get that opportunity to start with.
For sure. This is a guy that needs to be running 3, 4, 5 years in your Cup car, in my opinion. You get him locked into something super nice. I mean, I get AJ was in the twilight of his career, but he signed at the end of last season an extension that had 24, 25, 26, 27, all guaranteed with an option of 28. If you can do that for that guy, you got to be doing it for the guy that you just bet the future of your organization on. I'm not saying they're going to go to business, by the way, if they lose him. It's not going to happen. But I am saying he's the difference right now between you becoming a successful team long term who crawls out of the basement and being what you've been the last year. Because I thought they were good last year for what they were. I think our expectations were a little higher than that, but it is what it is. Let us know in the comment section down below, though, what you think. Atlanta this weekend, Watkins Glen next weekend. I think we're doing the Cup race for Watkins Glen. Is that what we decided?
Cup race for Watkins Glen. Yep.
So Atlanta Cup race, Watkins Glen Cup race, the Roval, the Xfinity race, and if we have future ones past that, we'll let you know. Those are our three that are coming up, though. As I choke here and lose my voice with another recording that I got to do. For Ryan, though, I'm Sean. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Click the notification bell to keep up to date with all of our content. Follow us on social media at Kaulignation on Twitter/X. On Facebook, it's Kaulignation, Dinger Nation, SVG Nation. Don't look at that sign. It's not under construction. It is officially up. Go check it out on Facebook. We would really appreciate you guys over there. And we will see you in the next video. Keep smiling.